Portland, Oregon. June 15, 2024. 4:17 p.m. Melissa Harper sits on the curb outside the Sentinel Hotel in her wedding dress. White lace. Satin. Beading that catches the afternoon sunlight. Veil trailing behind her on the concrete. Mascara running down her face in black streaks. People walk past. Stare. Some pull out phones. Take pictures. Post them. A bride crying alone on a city sidewalk. Good content. A car slows down. The driver leans out the window. "You okay, honey?" Melissa can't answer. Can't speak. Just shakes her head. Inside the hotel, 80 guests are waiting. Her mother is frantic. Her father is on the phone with police. Her bridesmaids are searching empty hallways, calling a number that goes straight to voicemail. But Melissa knows. She already knows. He's not coming. He's never been coming. Everything was a lie. Her phone buzzes. A notification from Chase Bank. Account balance, $127.34. It was supposed to be $22,000. Her savings account, the one she thought was secure, the one only she had access to, has just a few stray dollars left. Her investment account, 10 years of careful saving, shows the same thing, pennies, the kind left behind only to avoid instant fraud flags. Almost everything is gone. Drained by the man she was supposed to marry 17 minutes ago. The man who doesn't exist. Melissa stares at her engagement ring. The diamond catches the light. "Custom made," he said. "Spent months working with a jeweler," he said. She believed him. Believed everything. And now she's sitting on a curb in a wedding dress watching her life collapse in real time. A woman approaches. Young. Early 20s. Hesitant. "Miss? Do you need help? Should I call someone?" Melissa looks up. Tries to speak. Her voice comes out broken. "He's gone. He took everything. He's gone." The woman's expression shifts from concern to pity. That look Melissa will see 1,000 times in the coming months. The look that says, "You poor stupid thing." Sarah, Melissa's best friend, bursts out of the hotel doorway, scanning the street with searching, wide eyes. When she spots Melissa sitting on the curb in her wedding dress, she rushes over and drops to her knees beside her. "Mel, oh my God." Her voice shakes. "Why didn't you come inside? We've been looking everywhere." Melissa doesn't answer. Her mascara streaks, her breathing uneven. Sarah gently touches her arm. "Hey. Talk to me." Melissa swallows hard. The words won't come. Sarah hesitates, then says softly, "Mel, this doesn't look like an accident." Melissa squeezes her eyes shut. Sarah's voice drops to a whisper. "Mel, he didn't just run. He planned this." Melissa laughs. It's a horrible sound. Bitter. Broken. Comes out like a sob. "I know. I checked my accounts. He took everything." Sarah freezes. "What do you mean?" "He took everything. All of it. My savings. My investments. The joint account. Everything I've worked for in 10 years. Gone." Sarah's face crumples as she pulls Melissa into a shaking hug. "Oh, Mel. I'm so sorry. People are gathering now. Watching. Phones out. Recording the bride having a breakdown on the street. This will be online in minutes." Melissa Harper. Successful real estate agent. Abandoned at her own wedding. Robbed by the man she loved. She'll be famous for all the wrong reasons. But we need to go back. We need to understand how Melissa got here. How a successful woman ends up on a curb in a wedding dress with her life destroyed. How love becomes deception. How a fairy tale becomes a crime. This is that story. Before we continue, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to hear my story. If you're comfortable, let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is where you are. Now, let me tell you what happened to Melissa Harper and the man she thought was James Mitchell. 18 months earlier. December 2022. Melissa Harper is 34 years old. Successful real estate agent in Portland. Works for Windermere Real Estate. Closed $8 million in sales last year. Owns a condo in the Pearl District. Drives a BMW. Has her life together in every way except one: she's alone. Not lonely. Just alone. Her last relationship ended 3 years ago. Since then, it's been work. Clients. Open houses. Closings. Building her business. Building her savings. Building a life that looks perfect from the outside but feels empty when she comes home to her condo at night. She meets him at a charity gala. Holiday fundraiser for Oregon Health and Science University. She's there because her broker bought a table. He's there because, well, she never quite gets a clear answer about that. Something about his company being a donor. James Mitchell. Tall. Mid-30s. Dark hair with just a touch of gray at the temples. Well-dressed but not flashy. Confident but not arrogant. Works in tech, he says. Software consulting. His company helps businesses optimize their operations. It's boring when he explains it, which somehow makes it more believable. They talk for 2 hours. He's charming. Funny. Asks thoughtful questions about her work. Doesn't do the thing most men do where they try to compete or one-up her success. He seems genuinely interested. Genuinely impressed. He asks for her number. She gives it to him. Why not? He seems solid. Stable. Different from the guys she usually meets, the flashy real estate investors or the tech bros with more ego than substance. He texts her the next day. Coffee sometime? I promise to ask even more boring questions about real estate. She laughs. Texts back, only if I can ask boring questions about software. They meet for coffee. Then dinner. Then another dinner. Within 2 months, they're dating exclusively. Within 4 months, he's spending most nights at her condo. Within 6 months, they're talking about moving in together. Melissa has never felt this way before. James is everything she didn't know she needed. Stable. Supportive. Present. He comes to her open houses. Celebrates her sales. Cooks dinner when she works late. Rubs her feet when she's been showing properties all day. Her friends love him. Her mother loves him. Even her brother, who hates everyone Melissa dates, approves. He's good for you, Mel. You seem happy. For the first time in years, genuinely happy. 8 months in. July 2023, James suggests they open a joint account. For shared expenses, he says. Rent. Utilities. Groceries. It'll be easier than splitting everything constantly. Melissa hesitates. She's always been careful with money. Independent. But they're building a life together. It makes sense. So she agrees. They open a joint checking account at Chase Bank. Each contributes $5,000 to start. 3 months before the wedding. March 2024. James's laptop crashes. He's at Melissa's condo, frustrated, staring at the blank screen. Can I use yours? He asks. I need to email a client. Just for a few minutes. Melissa hands him her MacBook. Passwords on the sticky note. James smiles. You should use a password manager. It's more secure. I know. I keep meaning to set one up. Want me to install one for you? Takes like 5 minutes. I use LastPass, it's great. Sure, if you don't mind. He downloads the software. Sets it up. She gives him her master password, the same one she uses for everything. He imports her saved passwords. Shows her how it works. There you go. All set. Much safer now. What Melissa doesn't see, the keylogger he installs. The remote access software running in the background. The way he screenshots her banking app when she's in the shower. He's not helping her. He's preparing. October 2023. 2 months after they open the joint account, James proposes. Cannon Beach. Sunset. The ring is beautiful, a vintage setting with a princess-cut diamond. He tells her he had it custom-made. Spent months working with a jeweler to get it perfect. Melissa Harper, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Will you marry me? She says yes. They set the date. June 15, 2024. The Sentinel Hotel in downtown Portland. Small wedding. Just close friends and family. Intimate. Perfect. James handles most of the planning. He's surprisingly good at it. Finds the perfect photographer. Books an amazing caterer. Negotiates with the florist. Melissa is grateful. She's in the middle of her busiest season, spring real estate market, and doesn't have time for all the details. You focus on work, James says. I've got this. She loves him for that. For being the kind of partner who steps up. Who makes her life easier instead of harder. Everything is perfect. The dress. The venue. The guest list. The man. Melissa can't believe her luck. After years of failed relationships and loneliness, she's found her person. Her partner. Her future. June 13, 2024. 2 days before the wedding, James and Melissa have dinner with her parents. He's charming. Tells stories. Makes everyone laugh. Hugs Melissa's mother goodbye. Shakes her father's hand. I've dreamed of marrying you forever. He whispers, a smile tugging at his lips. He kisses her. She watches him drive away. Feels lucky. Feels loved. At 8:47 p.m., James logs into their joint account from a nearby coffee shop. On the surface, it looks like he's transferring $19,000 to an external account Melissa has never heard of. But the truth is darker. He scheduled this transfer days earlier, using stolen authentication tokens and quietly bypassing Melissa's 2FA. At 11:23 p.m., he logs into her Schwab investment account, except this login isn't real-time either. The $120,000 withdrawal had also been pre-authorized days before, timed perfectly to execute hours before the ceremony. At 1:34 a.m., her personal savings account. Another transfer. $45,000. Again, already queued. Already cleared internally. Already impossible to stop. By 2 a.m., every major account Melissa owns is empty. Not zero. He leaves tiny residual balances, just enough to avoid triggering instant fraud alerts. The big transfers won't fully post until Monday morning. By then, James will be gone. The perfect fiancé. The perfect future husband. And a man she never actually knew. June 15, 2024. Wedding day. Morning. 6:47 a.m. James, wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, withdraws $1,000 from an ATM on Burnside. Maximum daily limit. 7:03 a.m. Another ATM. Another $1,000. 7:19 a.m. A third ATM. Another $1,000. 8 a.m. He sends Melissa a text, "Can't wait to marry you. See you at the altar." 8:30 a.m. He pulls into the alley behind the Sentinel Hotel, moving with the calm efficiency of someone finishing a plan already set in motion. He takes out his phone, the one filled with photos, messages, and every lie he ever told Melissa. He drops it on the pavement, lifts a rock, and smashes it. Precise. Methodical. He checks the damage, then crushes it once more for certainty. He scatters the pieces into a dumpster. Not to hide them, just to delay the truth. He gets into a rental car Melissa has never seen, paid for in cash under a name that isn't his. The engine starts. No hesitation. No remorse. He drives east, leaving the hotel, the city, the wedding, and Melissa Harper behind. By the time she wakes up in her childhood bedroom, heartbroken and bankrupt, James Mitchell is already gone, vanished into thin air. June 15, 2024. Wedding day. Melissa wakes up at 7 a.m. in her childhood bedroom. She stayed at her parents' house in Lake Oswego. Tradition. Her bridesmaids arrive at 9 a.m. Hair. Makeup. Champagne. Laughter. Her best friend Sarah helps her into the dress. It's perfect. The ceremony is scheduled for 4 p.m. Melissa and her bridesmaids arrive at the Sentinel Hotel at 2 p.m. Plenty of time to set up. Take photos. Get settled. James is supposed to arrive at 1 p.m. with his groomsmen. He texted Melissa at 8 a.m., "Can't wait to marry you. See you at the altar." By 2:30 p.m., he's not there. Melissa tries not to worry. Traffic. Running late. Something with the tuxedos. There's always some delay. She texts him, "Where are you? Everything okay?" No response. She calls. Goes straight to voicemail. By 3 p.m., Melissa's stomach is churning. The wedding coordinator, a woman named Amanda, looks increasingly nervous. "I'm sure he's just running late. Portland traffic, you know." But Melissa knows James. He's never late. Ever. He's the guy who shows up 15 minutes early to everything. Who sets 3 alarms. Who plans for traffic. Sarah tries calling James's best man. A guy named Derek who James works with. No answer. They try James's brother. The phone rings. And rings. Goes to voicemail. At 3:30 p.m., Melissa's father, Richard, takes charge. "I'm calling the police." "Dad, no. It hasn't been long enough. They won't do anything." "Something's wrong, Melissa. I can feel it. We're calling." The wedding was in chaos. Bridesmaids whispering, guests glancing nervously at each other, champagne untouched. The 911 call flagged a welfare concern. By 3:45 p.m., 2 officers were on scene, taking his description, car, and phone number. Nearby streets were scanned, units alerted. The bride watched helplessly as the chaos James left behind was methodically mapped out. One officer, a woman named Detective Lisa Chen, asks to speak with Melissa privately. They go into a side room off the main ballroom. "Miss Harper, I need to ask you some questions," Chen says gently. "When was the last time you saw James?" "Yesterday. Around 6 p.m. He went home to his apartment to get ready with his groomsmen. We weren't supposed to see each other before the wedding. And he texted you this morning?" "Yes. At 8 a.m. said he couldn't wait to marry me. May I see your phone?" Melissa hands it over. Chen reads the text. Takes a screenshot. "Has James seemed stressed lately? Worried about anything? Money problems? Family issues?" "No. Nothing. Everything's been great. We're happy. We're getting married. We were getting married, in 15 minutes. Chen's expression shifts. Something knowing. Something Melissa doesn't like. "What is it?" Melissa asks. "What are you thinking?" "Miss Harper, in my experience, when a groom disappears right before a wedding, there are usually a few common scenarios. Cold feet is the most common. Sometimes family emergencies. Sometimes." Chen hesitates. "Sometimes there are other factors." "What factors?" "Financial. Legal. Personal history that the bride isn't aware of." Melissa feels ice in her stomach. "What are you saying?" "I'm not saying anything yet. I'm just trying to understand the situation. Let me make some calls." Chen steps out. Melissa sits alone in the room. Her wedding dress suddenly feels suffocating. The beading too heavy. The corset too tight. She can't breathe. Sarah comes in. "Mel. The guests are getting restless. What do we do?" "I don't know. I don't understand what's happening." At 4:15 p.m., Chen returns. Her expression is grim. "Miss Harper, we need to talk. Can your friend give us a moment?" Sarah leaves reluctantly. Chen sits down across from Melissa. "We found James's phone," Chen says carefully. Relief floods through Melissa. Oh, thank God. Where is he? Is he okay? We found the phone. Behind the venue. In the alley by the dumpster. It's been smashed to pieces. The ice in Melissa's stomach spreads. Smashed? What do you mean smashed? Destroyed. Deliberately. Someone took a hammer or a rock to it. The screen is shattered. The internal components are damaged. We can try to extract data, but it's going to take time. I don't understand. Why would his phone be in the alley? Why would it be destroyed? Chen is quiet for a moment. Then, Miss Harper, I need to ask you about your finances. Do you and James share any accounts? Credit cards? Loans? We have a joint checking account. For shared expenses. When was the last time you checked the balance? I don't know. A few days ago. Why? Chen pulls out her phone. Opens something. Turns it around to show Melissa. It's a grainy image from an ATM camera. Timestamp, 6:47 a.m. June 15, 2024. In the image, a man in a baseball cap and sunglasses stands at an ATM. But Melissa recognizes the build. The stance. The jacket. That's James, Melissa whispers. We pulled ATM footage from the Chase branch on Burnside. This morning at 6:47 a.m., someone using your joint account card withdrew the maximum daily amount. $1,000 cash. Then they went to two other ATMs, one at 7:03 a.m., one at 7:19 a.m. withdrew $1,000 from each. $3,000 total in cash withdrawals. Melissa feels like she's going to vomit. That's not possible. James wouldn't, we need that money. That's our account. That's for the honeymoon. 4. She stops. Pulls out her phone. Opens the Chase app with shaking hands. Logs into the joint account. Balance, $127.34. No, Melissa says. No. That's wrong. There should be $22,000 in there. We've been saving for months. But the transaction history tells the story. Melissa whispers. He took all of it. Chen's expression is sympathetic but unsurprised. Miss Harper, I need you to think very carefully. Did James have access to any of your other accounts? Credit cards? Savings? Investments? Melissa's hands are shaking so badly she can barely hold her phone. But she checks. Her personal checking account. Her savings account. Her Schwab investment account. Her personal checking, $342 remaining. It should have $8,000. Her savings, $300. It should have $45,000. Her investment account, $700. It should have $120,000. Oh my God, Melissa breathes. Oh my God. How did he? I don't understand. Miss Harper, Chen says carefully. I think we need to consider the possibility that James didn't disappear. I think he left. Intentionally. The room spins. Melissa grips the edge of the table to keep from falling. No. You don't understand. James loves me. We're getting married. The phone being destroyed suggests he doesn't want to be tracked. The financial withdrawals suggest he planned this. Miss Harper, I'm sorry, but I don't think James Mitchell is coming back. Melissa stands. Walks to the door on unsteady legs. Opens it. The wedding coordinator is there, looking panicked. Beyond her, Melissa can see the ballroom. The flowers. The chairs arranged in perfect rows. The arch where she was supposed to stand with James. 80 guests waiting. Her mother crying. Her father furious. Guests looking at her with pity. Melissa walks through the lobby. Past the concerned hotel staff. Past the other guests checking in for their own events. Out the front door into the June afternoon. She sits down on the curb. Her dress pools around her. White lace on gray concrete. She doesn't care. Can't move. Can't think. This is where we started. This is the moment everything fell apart. But the truth, the real truth about who James Mitchell is and what he's done, that's still coming. The wedding is cancelled. Obvious. Guests are sent home with apologies and confusion. Melissa's mother is crying. Her father is furious. Sarah stays with Melissa in the hotel room, helping her out of the dress she'll never wear. Detective Chen stays to ask more questions. About James. About their relationship. About anything that seemed off. Did James ever mention his family? Chen asks. His parents died in a car accident when he was in college. His brother lives in Denver. That's all he said. Did you ever meet the brother? Melissa thinks. No. James said they weren't close. He was supposed to come to the wedding, but he cancelled last week. Work emergency. What about friends? Co-workers? Did you meet people from James's life? Some. Derek, his best man. A few guys from his company. But, Melissa stops. Actually, I don't think I ever went to James's office. He always said it was boring. Just cubicles and computers. He'd come to my office sometimes, but I never went to his. Chen writes this down. What company does he work for? TechVantage Solutions. It's a consulting firm. Downtown office. Do you have an address? Melissa finds it in her phone. Gives Chen the address James had listed. Chen steps out to make a call. Returns 10 minutes later. Her expression is even grimmer than before. Miss Harper, there's no company called TechVantage Solutions at that address. There's a Starbucks. Melissa blinks. That's not possible. James works there. He's been working there since before we met. But she realizes she's never seen a pay stub. James always deposited his paychecks via mobile app. Said his company did direct deposit. She never questioned it. I think we need to do a more thorough investigation into James Mitchell, Chen says carefully. With your permission, I'd like to bring in some additional resources. Financial Crimes Unit. Maybe FBI if this crosses state lines. FBI? Why would you need the FBI? Chen sits down. Miss Harper, I've seen cases like this before. Not exactly like this, but similar patterns. Men who create false identities. Build relationships with financially successful women. Gain their trust. Get access to their money. Then disappear before anyone realizes what's happened. You think James is a con artist? I think it's a possibility we need to explore. Melissa's voice comes out bitter, broken. That's insane. James and I were together for 18 months. We were getting married. You don't con someone for that long. The investigation starts immediately. Detective Chen brings in Detective Marcus Webb from the Financial Crimes Unit. Webb is in his 50s. Seen everything. Believes nothing. Webb pulls up screen. Shows Melissa. Social Security number issued 2020. Before that, nothing. He clicks to another screen. Nevada DMV. No record. Another screen. Ohio State University. Never enrolled. Click. 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 Each screen erasing another piece of James Mitchell. Your fiancé, Webb says quietly, was created 4 years ago. Melissa sits in her condo, hollow, 3 days gone from herself. Sarah's hand grips hers, hard, trembling with anger. Snap out of it, Mel. You can't just sit here and vanish along with him. She hisses. Melissa doesn't answer. She lets the words slam into her like the empty walls around them, letting the silence stretch, heavy and unbroken. Webb's team pulls every piece of evidence they can find. The ATM photos. James's destroyed phone, they send it to the FBI's cyber forensics lab. His apartment, yes, he had his own apartment, said he was keeping it until after the wedding, just in case, they search it with a warrant. The apartment is empty. Not just empty of James. Empty. Like no one ever lived there. The landlord is confused. He paid through the end of June. Said he was getting married and moving out. I didn't expect him to clear out this fast. When did he clear out? Webb asks. Must have been yesterday or the day before. I saw him loading a U-Haul on Thursday. Thursday. June 13th. 2 days before the wedding. James was packing up his entire life while Melissa was getting her nails done for the ceremony. Webb's team pulls surveillance footage from the apartment building. Watches James, or whoever he is, load box after box into a U-Haul truck. He works alone. Takes 3 hours. Drives away at 2:47 p.m. on June 13th. They track the U-Haul. It was rented from a location on 82nd Avenue. Paid for with cash. Fake ID. The name on the rental agreement, David Wilson. Security footage shows the same man who called himself James Mitchell. But he's wearing a wig. Different hair. Different glasses. Barely recognizable. He knew what he was doing, Webb says. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. Meticulously. They traced the money. The $19,000 transferred from the joint account went to an account at a credit union in Nevada. The account was opened 3 months ago. In the name of Michael Thompson. With the same man's face on the ID. The FBI gets involved. Special Agent Rachel Morrison from the Portland field office. She specializes in identity theft and financial fraud. She looks at Webb's evidence and immediately recognizes the pattern. Melissa's father in the FBI office. Hands shaking. I walked you down the aisle at rehearsal. I shook his hand. I welcomed him to our family. How did I not see it? This is a long-con romance scam, Morrison says. Classic structure. Create a false identity. Target a financially successful woman. Build a relationship. Gain trust. Get access to finances. Drain everything. Disappear. Start over somewhere else with someone else. How many times has he done this? Melissa asks. She's sitting in the FBI field office. Feels like she's living someone else's nightmare. We don't know yet. But people who run cons like this don't usually stop at one. Let me make some calls. Morrison contacts FBI field offices across the country. Sends photos of James Mitchell. Asks if anyone recognizes him from similar cases. Within 48 hours, she gets 3 hits. Phoenix, Arizona. 2019, a woman named Jennifer Torres met a man named Robert Hayes. Tech consultant. Charming. Attentive. They dated for 14 months. Got engaged. 2 weeks before their wedding, Robert disappeared. Took $87,000 from Jennifer's savings account. Destroyed his phone. Vanished. Jennifer filed a police report. The investigation went nowhere. Robert Hayes was a fake identity. The real person was never found. Case went cold. Seattle, Washington. 2021, a woman named Amanda Price met a man named Daniel Foster. Works in finance. Sophisticated. Romantic. They dated for 16 months. Got engaged. 1 week before their wedding, Daniel disappeared. Took $134,000 from Amanda's investment accounts. Destroyed his laptop and phone. Gone. Amanda reported it. FBI investigated. Daniel Foster was a manufactured identity. Trail went cold. Sacramento, California. 2022, a woman named Lisa Chen met a man named Thomas Wright. Software engineer. Kind. Supportive. They dated for 15 months. Got engaged. Days before their wedding, Thomas disappeared. Took $95,000 from Lisa's accounts. Smashed his phone. Vanished. Lisa called police immediately. Investigation turned up nothing. Thomas Wright didn't exist before 2021. The real person behind the identity was never identified. Agent Morrison shows Melissa the photos. Robert Hayes. Daniel Foster. Thomas Wright. Different names. Different hair colors. Different glasses. But the same face. The same bone structure. The same man who called himself James Mitchell. That's him, Melissa whispers. That's James. How is that possible? How many women has he done this to? We've identified 3 others so far, Morrison says. But there might be more. Many victims don't report. Some are too embarrassed. Some don't realize it's fraud, they think it's just a boyfriend who left. Melissa feels sick. She's not special. She's not unique. She's just another mark. Another victim. Another woman who was stupid enough to fall for his act. We call him the groom, Morrison says. That's what the task force named him. Because he always gets engaged. Always plans a wedding. Always disappears right before. Why before the wedding? Melissa asks. Why not after? He'd have more legal access to my money if we were actually married. Because marriage creates a paper trail, Morrison explains. Marriage certificates. Joint tax returns. Legal connections that are harder to erase. He needs to disappear completely. No documentation linking him to you. Engagement is perfect. Close enough to build trust, not close enough to create legal liability. Webb leans forward. Melissa, we need you to think. Did James ever mention where he was from originally? Any details about his past that might be true? Melissa tries to remember. He said he grew up in Ohio. Went to college at Ohio State. His parents died his junior year. He moved around after that. Denver for a while. Then Phoenix. Then Seattle. Then Portland. Morrison writes this down. Phoenix and Seattle match 2 of our other victims. He's probably been working this con for at least 5 years. Maybe longer. Who is he really? Melissa asks. What's his real name? We don't know yet. But we're going to find out. The media storm. The story breaks 6 days after the wedding that never happened. Local news first, Portland woman scammed by con artist posing as fiancé. Then national, the groom, FBI hunts serial romance scammer who's stolen over $500,000 from multiple women. Melissa's face is on the news. Her story told by reporters who don't understand. Who make it sound like she was stupid. Naive. Like she should have known. The comments online are brutal. How do you date someone for 18 months and not realize they're fake? She's a real estate agent. Supposedly smart. How did she fall for this? Women need to stop being so desperate. This is why you do background checks. She gave him her passwords. That's her own fault. Melissa stops reading. Stops watching the news. Stops looking at her phone. But the media doesn't stop. Reporters camp outside her condo. Outside her office. Call her friends and family asking for comments. Her mother is devastated. How did we not see it? We had dinner with him dozens of times. He seemed so real. Her father is furious. When they catch him, I'll kill him myself. Sarah is protective. Don't read the comments, Mel. Those people don't know you. They don't know what happened. But Melissa reads them anyway. Because maybe they're right. Maybe she was stupid. Maybe she should have seen the signs. It feels like she should have known. Should have seen through him. Should have protected herself. The other victims reach out. Jennifer from Phoenix. Amanda from Seattle. Lisa from Sacramento. The FBI initiated a victim support group. They form a group chat. Share their stories. Compare notes. He told me his parents died in a car accident, Jennifer writes. Same, Amanda types. Said it happened when he was in college. He's using the exact same script with all of us. Everything slightly different but fundamentally the same. A well-rehearsed performance. Did he propose at the beach? Jennifer asks. Yes, Melissa types. Cannon Beach. He took me to La Jolla, Jennifer says. Same proposal story. Said he had the ring custom made. Mine too, Amanda confirms. Custom made. Spent months working with a jeweler. That's what he told me. Melissa looks at her engagement ring. She researches the jeweler's mark on the inside of the band. Finds the company. Calls them. I'm calling about a ring purchased from your store. Custom design. Can you look it up by the design number? The jeweler looks it up. Oh yes, that's one of our stock designs. We sell about 30 of these a year. Very popular. Not custom. Not special. Just another lie. Melissa takes the ring off. Throws it across the room. 3 weeks after the non-wedding, Agent Morrison gets a break. The FBI's facial recognition software matches James Mitchell to a driver's license photo from 2015. Before the fake identities. Before the cons. When he was still himself. His real name, Eric Donovan. Age 42, not 36. Born in Tampa, Florida. Criminal record dating back to age 19. Morrison pulls his file. It's extensive. Fraud. Identity theft. Forgery. He served 3 years in a Florida prison from 2008 to 2011 for running a real estate scam. Got out. Moved to California. Ran another con, investment fraud. Arrested in 2014. Served 2 years. Released in 2016. Disappeared. Until 2019 when he resurfaced in Phoenix as Robert Hayes. He's been running romance scams since he got out, Morrison tells Melissa. This is his specialty now. Harder to trace than financial fraud. More psychological manipulation. Less paper trail. Where is he now? Melissa asks. We don't know. But we're getting close. The FBI traces the $19,000 Eric transferred from Melissa's joint account. It went to the Nevada Credit Union. Then was immediately transferred again. To an account in Texas. Then to an account in Florida. Then withdrawn as cash from multiple ATMs across 3 states. He's laundering it, Webb explains. Moving it through multiple accounts to obscure the trail. By the time we track it all, the money's gone. But Eric makes a mistake. Small. Almost invisible. The kind only overconfidence creates. On June 20th, 5 days after leaving Melissa at the altar, he slips. He thinks he's untouchable. Untethered. Smarter than everyone chasing the ghost of James Mitchell. So he uses a credit card. Not Eric Donovan. Not James Mitchell. Michael Thompson. One charge. A gas station outside Boise, Idaho. The FBI catches it instantly. Then 3 more sparks on the map. Gas in Twin Falls. A motel in Elko. Groceries in Reno. A trail he never meant to leave, breadcrumbs dropped by a man too sure he'd never be caught. He's moving east, Morrison says. Probably heading to his next target. They pull surveillance footage from the gas station in Boise. There he is. Different hair, dyed brown, shorter. Different glasses. But definitely Eric Donovan. Definitely James Mitchell. Definitely the groom. The FBI issues a warrant. Sends alerts to law enforcement across Nevada, California, Arizona. Eric Donovan is wanted for fraud, identity theft, wire fraud, and theft by deception across multiple states. His photo is everywhere. News stations. FBI's most wanted list. Social media. Have you seen this man? Do not approach. Contact FBI immediately. Melissa sees his real face for the first time. Eric Donovan. Not James Mitchell. She stares at the photo. Tries to reconcile the man she loved with the criminal on the screen. They're the same person. But also not. James Mitchell was a character. A performance. Eric Donovan is the real person underneath. And Melissa realizes she never knew him at all. The arrest. Eric is arrested on July 3, 2024. FBI footage shows Eric at coffee shop. Creating new dating profile. Name, Christopher Daniels. Age, 38. Job, medical device sales. Bio, looking for someone special. He's already hunting. FBI agents surround the coffee shop. Move in quickly. Eric tries to run. Gets about 10 feet before agents tackle him. They find 3 fake IDs in his wallet. $8,000 in cash in his backpack. A list of names and addresses, women he's researching. Potential future victims. Agent Morrison calls Melissa. We got him. Melissa doesn't feel relief. Doesn't feel joy. Just rage. What happens now? He'll be extradited to Oregon. Face charges here first. Then likely additional charges in Arizona, Washington, California. He's looking at significant prison time. Will I get my money back? Morrison is quiet. I don't know. We'll try to recover what we can. But Melissa, you should prepare for the possibility that most of it is gone. Most of it. $173,000. Her life savings. Money she worked 10 years to accumulate. Gone. Spent. Disappeared into Eric Donovan's con. The media coverage explodes again. FBI arrests serial romance scammer known as the Groom. Eric's real face everywhere. His criminal history exposed. His pattern revealed. More victims come forward. Women from years ago who were too ashamed to report. Women who thought they were alone. In total, FBI identifies 9 women across 6 states. Over $800,000 stolen. Nearly a decade of cons. Melissa contacts the other victims. They decide to attend the arraignment together. A united front. 9 women Eric Donovan tried to destroy. The arraignment is July 18, 2024. Multnomah County Courthouse. Eric is brought in wearing an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs. He looks different without the performance. Smaller. Ordinary. Nothing special about him. Melissa stares at him. He glances at the gallery. Sees the 9 women sitting together. His expression doesn't change. No remorse. No shame. Nothing. The judge reads the charges. Multiple counts of fraud. Identity theft. Theft by deception. Money laundering. If convicted on all counts, Eric faces up to 40 years in federal prison. Eric pleads not guilty. Claims the women gave him the money willingly. Claims these were just relationships that ended badly. Claims he's the victim of vindictive ex-girlfriends. His public defender argues Eric has mental health issues. Childhood trauma. He needs treatment, not prison. The prosecutor, a woman named Catherine Ross, presents the evidence. The fake identities. The pattern across multiple states. The premeditation. The destroyed phones. The meticulously planned escapes. This is not mental illness, Ross argues. This is criminal enterprise. Eric Donovan is a serial predator who targets successful women, manipulates them into trusting him, steals their life savings, and disappears. He's done it at least 9 times. He's stolen over $800,000. He's destroyed lives. He needs to be held accountable. The judge denies bail. Given the defendant's history of flight risk and the severity of the charges, bail is denied. Mr. Donovan will remain in custody until trial. Eric is led away. Doesn't look at the women. Doesn't acknowledge them. They're nothing to him. They never were. The trial begins in November 2024. 5 months after the wedding that never happened. Melissa has sold her condo, couldn't afford the mortgage without her savings. Moved into a smaller apartment. Took a second job bartending on weekends. Trying to rebuild financially. She attends every day of the trial. Sits in the same seat. Front row. Wants Eric to see her. Wants him to know she's there. The prosecution presents overwhelming evidence. Bank records showing the transfers. ATM footage showing the withdrawals. Testimony from all 9 victims describing nearly identical patterns. Jennifer from Phoenix testifies about Robert Hayes. How he was kind and attentive. How he proposed at the beach. How he took everything and vanished. Amanda from Seattle testifies about Daniel Foster. The same proposal story. The same gradual financial access. The same sudden disappearance. Lisa from Sacramento. Same story. Same con. Same devastation. Melissa stares across the courtroom, voice cold and precise. I thought I loved him. But I didn't. I loved James Mitchell, and James Mitchell doesn't exist. I never knew Eric Donovan. The room goes still. Every eye on her, every heartbeat echoing in the hollow absence of a man who was never real. Eric's defense is weak. They argue he genuinely cared for these women. That the relationships were real. That the money transfers were gifts, not theft. But the evidence is overwhelming. The fake identities. The false employment. The systematic draining of accounts. The planned escapes. This isn't love gone wrong. This is calculated crime. The jury deliberates for 3 hours. Returns with a verdict. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing is scheduled for December 15, 2024. 6 months to the day after Melissa was supposed to get married. Judge Patricia Thompson presides over sentencing. She asks if any victims want to make impact statements. All 9 women stand up. Jennifer goes first. Eric Donovan stole $87,000 from me. But that's not what really damaged me. He stole my ability to trust. My belief that I could find love. My confidence in my own judgment. I'm 38 years old now. I'm afraid to date. Afraid to trust anyone. That's what he took from me. Amanda goes second. I lost $134,000. Money I'd saved for 15 years. But worse, I lost time. 2 years of my life wasted on someone who never existed. I can't get that time back. I can't get those years back. One by one, they speak. Lisa. Karen from Denver. Michelle from Dallas. Women Eric destroyed. Melissa goes last. Eric Donovan stole $173,000 from me, she says, her voice steady. He stole 18 months of my life. He stole my wedding day. He stole my dignity, because people blamed me, said I should have known, said I was stupid for falling for him. But what he really stole was my belief that I deserved love. I'm 35 years old. I'm terrified that I'll never trust anyone again. That I'll never let anyone close enough to hurt me. That I'll spend the rest of my life alone because Eric Donovan taught me that love is just another con. That's what he took from me. That's what he took from all of us. Not just money. Hope. Judge Thompson listens to all 9 statements. Then turns to Eric. Mr. Donovan, the judge says, her voice echoing through the chamber, you spent years crafting lies. Identities, histories, whole lives, just to prey on women who trusted you. 9 victims we know of. 9 futures shattered. You struck at their most fragile moments to inflict the deepest wounds. She delivers the final blow. 35 years. 27 federal charges. Full restitution. You will not walk free again. Eric shows no reaction. Just stares straight ahead. He's led away in handcuffs. Melissa watches him go. Feels nothing. No triumph. No relief. Only a quiet, echoing emptiness. Melissa stands outside the Sentinel Hotel. It's been a year since the wedding that never happened. The hotel is hosting another wedding today. She can hear music inside. Laughter. Joy. She thinks about June 15, 2024. The day that was supposed to be the best of her life. The day she stood in a wedding dress waiting for a man who never existed. She's rebuilt somewhat. Financially, she's still struggling. Eric was ordered to pay restitution, but he has no assets. She's received $3,400 so far. Less than 2% of what he stole. The rest she may never see. Emotionally, she's managing. Therapy twice a week. Medication for anxiety and depression. The other 8 victims have become friends. They have a group chat. Support each other. Remind each other that they're not stupid. That they're survivors. But Melissa hasn't dated. Can't imagine dating. Can't imagine trusting someone enough to let them close. Can't imagine introducing someone to her family, her friends, her life, because what if they're not real? What if it's another Eric Donovan with a different name? She joined a support group for fraud victims. Heard their stories. Realized how common this is. How many con artists are out there? How many people are running long cons on unsuspecting victims? How the system is designed to let them get away with it. Most never get caught. Eric only got caught because he got greedy. 9 victims. Too many. If he'd stopped at 3 or 4, he'd probably still be out there. Still conning. Still stealing. Still destroying lives. Melissa started a blog. Unengaged, Life After a Con. She writes about her experience. About the warning signs she missed. About how to protect yourself. About how to rebuild after being victimized. The blog went viral. Thousands of readers. Hundreds of comments from people sharing similar stories. People who were conned by romantic partners. By business associates. By family members. People who lost everything to someone they trusted. Melissa realizes her story isn't unique. It's common. Frighteningly common. And the shame that keeps victims silent is exactly what lets con artists continue operating. So she speaks publicly now. Gives interviews. Works with the FBI to educate people about romance scams. Helps other victims navigate the legal system. Turns her trauma into purpose. But she's not healed. Maybe she never will be. The wound is too deep. The betrayal too complete. She deleted all photos of James Mitchell. Threw away the engagement ring, sold it, actually, for $1,200. A fraction of what Eric claimed he paid for it. Removed every trace of him from her life. Except the memories. Those she can't delete. James proposing at Cannon Beach. James cooking dinner in her kitchen. James holding her hand at her father's surgery. James kissing her forehead and saying, "I love you." None of it was real. But it felt real. And that's what makes it so hard to let go. Melissa walks away from the Sentinel Hotel. Gets in her car. Drives to her small apartment. The apartment that's all she can afford now. The apartment that's hers and hers alone. She checks her phone. Message from Jennifer, "Hard day." Melissa types back, "Anniversary of the non-wedding. I'm okay. We're here if you need us," Amanda writes in the group chat. "Love you," Lisa adds. They're her family now. The 9 women Eric Donovan tried to destroy. United by trauma. Stronger together than they were apart. This isn't the ending Melissa wanted. She wanted marriage. Partnership. A future with someone she loved. Instead, she got betrayal, theft, and a hard-learned lesson about trust. But she's building something from the wreckage. Not a relationship. Not a traditional happy ending. But purpose. Community. Strength she didn't know she had. She's not the same person she was on June 14, 2024. The night before her wedding. That Melissa was naive. Trusting. Believed in fairy tales. This Melissa knows better. Knows that some people are predators. That love can be weaponized. That trust is something to be earned slowly, carefully, with evidence and time. It's not a happy ending. But it's an ending where she survives. Where she rebuilds. Where she helps others avoid the same fate. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that has to be enough. Because James Mitchell is gone. Eric Donovan is in prison. And Melissa Harper is still here. Still standing. Still fighting. That's the story. Her story. The story of a woman who was conned by someone she loved. Who lost everything. Who survived anyway. Who turned her pain into purpose. And she's not alone. This isn't over. Con artists are still out there. Romance scams are still happening. Women and men are still being targeted, manipulated, destroyed. But now there are 9 women fighting back. Sharing their stories. Warning others. Making noise. Eric Donovan took their money. He will never take their voices. That's justice. Not the justice Melissa wanted. But the justice she's building. One story. One warning. One survivor at a time.